What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on Tactical Pineapple, we are going to continue the doom and gloom that we've been talking about recently and talk about something that's kind of, people think about it, but people don't really think about it. And I'm obviously, based on the thumbnail, talking about an all-out market collapse, what it means to you, why it's impending, why it's almost guaranteed to happen, and really how much you're set to lose if you're in specific things in the market. So, without further ado, all right, so obviously, before we get into it, we'll do a quick rundown of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Today, there was some bombshell type stuff that did come out. Nothing that really shed any new light on anything, but the fact of the matter is that we now know that there was an FBI surveillance plane flying over Kenosha on the night of the riots, or the nights of the riots. We don't necessarily know how much they recorded or how often they record, but we obviously can burn thousands of gallons of jet fuel running a surveillance plane whenever the fuck we want, instead of actually calling in police to prevent the riots. But hey, whatever. Neither here nor there. Interestingly enough, that FBI surveillance video was presented only to the prosecution. And the FBI didn't really want it to get out because, of course, they didn't want anybody to know that they're recording them. So, questions abound. FBI, what the fuck else you recording, motherfuckers? I'm just saying, right? You're recording us from the skies. We have to send all of our shit to you when we purchase guns. You're definitely not keeping a database, I'm pretty sure, right? Anyways, it didn't really show anything new. Once again, the defense is kind of lackadaisical today. Didn't really have to do much. Didn't really do a whole lot in defense of Kyle, which is really kind of weird. However, the prosecutor's doing a great job in Kyle's defense, so there's that. There was a juror released this morning. Juror number 7 in the trial, so they're down from 20 to 19. Juror number 7 apparently made a joke in bad taste. I'm sure by the time you're watching this video, most of you have already heard it, but why is it that Jacob Blake was only shot 7 times by the Kenosha PD? Apparently because they ran out of bullets. Not a great joke, not really a huge punchline. Most likely true, because of some department policy. From what I understand, Kenosha Police Department is only allowed to carry 7 rounds in their gun, which is fucking asinine. If that's true, I haven't been able to verify it. It may not be true at all, so whatever the reason, it was what was said by juror number 7 as they were exiting the building one day to their cars. Somebody complained about it, and in all honesty, I think the juror could have probably defended the statement. He just chose not to defend his own statements. He chose not to repeat it in the courtroom. Therefore, he was just flat out dismissed this morning. Not a huge deal. They have 8 stand-ins, or they had 8 stand-ins. Now they have 7 stand-ins. So at the end of the day, there are only 12 jurors that are going to go into the back room and vote. So as long as we have 12 or more at the final date of the trial, that's what matters. So we'll see what happens from there. But that's not what this video is about, right? The video is not about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. It is about something else that is set to fucking explode. And I'm talking about the market. Why do I personally believe the market is set to explode? It is not because everything is at record highs. It is not because we're sitting up on a Democratic president who doesn't do shit. It's not because of policies part and parcel that are going to tank things. Obviously, we have the food shortage, all that stuff we've talked about in the past. All that stuff is kind of lending itself to tearing down the American economy. But let's be real, the market is international. The market itself, yes, although it is in the United States, it's housed here, it depends very, very much upon international markets and other things outside of the United States. So, um, the U.S. economy tanking alone is not going to be pause for the entire market to collapse. Now, there are indexes that are used by day traders and other traders to determine a company's actual value versus what it's saying its value is. And those are P&A indexes. It's basically predictions versus assets, or there's a couple different terminologies that are used for it. I'm not sure exactly which one's right because I'm not a market analyst. I just know that these indexes are basically anything below a 1 means the company is undervalued. Anything over a 1 means the company is overvalued. Pretty much every single P&A index on every single company pretty much right now is at a minimum of 1.4. With some companies like Tesla, I believe, being at like a 1.8. I was always told that it's kind of like profits and assets. That's kind of what's looked at here. So the company is making X amount of profits and the company owns this many assets. Those together equal the liquid value of a company. That liquid value is what the company is worth. Now, if you take that number and you compare it to what people are paying for the stock prices, and then that stock price multiplied by however many stocks there are obviously creates an index value. You take that value and divide it by the profits and assets, the liquid value of the company total, and that gives you your index number. If you are looking at something, it has something that's like a 0.7 or a 0.8, it is probably good to get in on it because you're looking at a 20 to 30% undervaluation of what the company is. So as the things correct, it will bring itself back to 1 and you will make money on it. This is kind of an indexing trade, and this isn't meant to be kind of you're going to learn how to trade, but this is kind of how much you're potentially going to lose. You can also determine based on this. So if you look at all of your assets that you have in a market and those market values are at 1.4, 1.8, 1.6, 1.4, and you take all of the overages on 1, that's percentage loss if there's a market correction, because everything will not go completely down to nothing. Everything will kind of return to the actual valuation, right? So if it is sitting at a 1.8, like I believe Tesla is, and I may be wrong on that, I haven't looked at it for a while now, but that value of 1.8, once things correct, it goes down to 1, which means it automatically loses 0.8 or 80% of its value. I think that's 80% of the value. Anyways, it loses all that, goes back down to 1. It's almost cut in half. Yeah, so not 80%, it's like 40%. That there, my math is wrong. But it does that, and you're automatically at a loss if you bought at higher than a 1.0 value. So this is kind of where things are sitting. A lot of people have money in the market right now. It's absolutely crazy if you don't, because the values continue to go up and up and up. I believe my personalized rate of return on my 401k that I manage myself, my individual retirement account, over the last 6 years is 138.6%, which is phenomenal. If you can get 8% over 5 years, you're doing good. To have a 136 means I'm in some high risk shit, which I am. I'm in extremely high risk indexes, and that's going to change. As a matter of fact, I believe it's already changed. If the company has done what they're supposed to do, everything's already changed. It takes a little bit of time sometimes to get out of the riskier indexes, but I'm actually moving everything over into essentially an IRA money market account, because although I may go to a 0% increase over time, I'm not going to lose anything if things tank. So this is my suggestion. Move everything over to something as safe as possible, probably in the next month or two, because things are going to start domino affecting and tanking down. And people are set to lose a shit ton of money if that happens. So take what you've got now, move it to something safe. Don't take it out. That's just stupid. But just move it to something safe and do what you got to do to protect your own funds and your own financial future. So I know this has been a little bit different. It's not like me complaining or bitching or whatever about something in particular, but it's kind of me wanting to help you guys that you're watching this. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a market analyst. I'm not a day trader. I'm not anything like that, but I have managed my own funds and my own accounts for several years and done extremely well by following simple rules that traders use, and they use those, financial advisors use those to make people good amounts of money. So they're sound techniques, they're sound all around. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know this has probably been a bit more of a boring video, but it had to be said. So if you do have money out there in IRAs and 401ks and stuff like that, if you're like me, you've been pushing to the high risk stuff because it makes fucking money when you're in a market like we've been in for the last couple of years. That's going to change. If you are in those indexes when things go sour, you're going to be left with a fucking very, very sour taste in your mouth. So get yourself to safety, do what you got to do, and until the next video, folks, carry your pistol. Brandon fucking hates them.